So, Susie, would you continue with that pitch?
Let us not pray to be sheltered from dangers, but to be fearless when facing them. Rabindranath Tagore.
Yeah,
a
quite a
hard
name.
one. Consider when I am not afraid to fail, to fall or fail, I can wait for the path to be clear. When was the last time I decided out of resistance? What was I afraid of?
So,
What was the outcome of my
hold
impatience?
on. When was the last time you decided out of resistance?
I went on a trip and I decided the day that I wanted to leave was kind of to get out of doing something else, but it ended up working out quite nice. So I did it out of resistance of wanting to do something for somebody. So I was like, sorry, I'm out of town, and felt like I needed to be true to my word, and I left town. So it was just kind of like a, but it worked out for me.
So what you were actually
anyway.
resisting was
That's you.
speaking the truth to your friend. Is that
Yeah,
it?
in a way.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've noticed that there's a very like I don't know, it's a person that I don't like being reeled into their manipulations. So I was like, sorry, I'm out of town, and I left town.
Yeah.
So there
And
was
then you had to leave
an
town because
exodus.
you wanted to be true to yourself. But the reality is you could also have said or not engage at all in communication with that person. You know, to tell that person, sorry, I'm not in town. That person must have asked you something like, may I come by? Or would you like to hang on such and such a day? And you could simply have said nothing.
Yeah, I
So,
could have.
so what would have been the resistance here? If I say nothing, I'm afraid that
Well, honestly, it's like I'm afraid that they're gonna go find my other friends and get them to pester me to give her a response. So
I've
it's not even that.
I have one little comment to make here. I've faced this with a lot of friends also, and I feel that not responding is not very much like I would respond, because I usually respond to people. But however, it is a little bit difficult to tell them that you can't. We often feel engaged to give people reasons, but we can also say, I'm sorry, I really cannot make it, or I really have planned other things, or something. I really don't have time for that. Or, and then, initially it was very difficult for me to tell people, and oftentimes I lied too. And then after that, after some time, I started saying that I couldn't make it. And then the more I said it, the easier after that it became. It was kind of like a muscle memory.
so.
And we're not obliged to give people reasons why we can't. We just can't.
Yes. I once participated in a process where we were being asked questions, and we had three options to answer the question. Number one, we could tell the truth. Number two, which is what Susie did, we can lie. Number three, we can stay silent. And what I have found is the most difficult thing for me was to stay silent. That somehow I have to explain the why and the how. And you see that when you watch law shows or movies about the law, and you have a lawyer and you have a person that is going to be on the hot seat, and it never misses that the lawyer would say something to the effect of answer with succinct answers. Don't go into details. Okay. So what I know for fact, for me, and I would say it's probably universal, is that the fear of rejection is why I build an entire story. This is why I need to lie or tell the truth. Because the very thought of keeping my own counsel resonates with, I can't reject them, because if I reject them, I'm going to be rejected. So it all hinges onto the fear of rejection, and also of falling, and also of speaking, which is how I was suffering. If you're afraid of rejection, then you're also afraid of speaking, which speaking may be not speaking. Silence is a form of communication. And the fear of making an error. Okay? So I would say those are deep subject matters to how we answer a question, how much detail we give, and why.
So for me, because part of the underlying way, like the way I chose to give my response, had more to do with not wanting to play into a game that I know that this person who always wants things done for them, I didn't want to play into that. Would that still be under the same category of rejection, speaking, and falling?
Of course, because not playing into the game is not answering at all. By giving them what you give them, you're still playing with them. You're still interacting. You see,
Still about the attention given, or like the
right,
commitment of the energy rather than just abstaining.
exactly.
Okay.
And I find that it's extremely difficult for me, for an ego like mine, that has so much fear. The way that I keep myself safe is to creating a story, a fog of story around me. And then I'm protected, or I believe I'm protected. Okay. But that it's still coming out of resisting fear. Okay. So
Question.
what? Sure.
Okay, so I will respond to everyone, and then I'm thinking that I will give um I will give a more detailed explanation as to why I cannot, to those that are closer to me, like the few friends that I have or family members, to go and spend energy as to giving my reason why. I will not do that for everyone, however, and I will respond short to, like, in a shorter version. Because I mean, yes, it comes down to rejection. But also to me, it's like, it's because I would like to be faced with the same Um,
Because you're afraid of them being silent with you, because then your mind is going to go into all sorts of interpretation on how they don't like you and how you did it wrong, and on and on and on. I would
um,
say, as a closing remark on this, I would go back to Mary Poppins, who is employed by Mr. Banks. And so she's the nanny and he is the rich banker. And he asks her what happened to the children. And she says, I never give any explanation. And she keeps moving. And that's it. Deal with that. She's not afraid of being fired. She's not protecting zero. She just stands her ground and says, I never give any explanation. And that's it. Now, to live at that level is a high call. Just, I hear what you're saying. I spend a lot of time answering my parents and I pay my family, and I'll pay particular attention to offer explanation. For other people, I answer all the time, but more succinctly. Just as a matter of experiment. Doesn't have to be your style, but just experiment. Try not to say anything. Just try it. See how it makes you uncomfortable. To not protect yourself by coming back to them with the thought that if I were them, and being me, I want people to get back to me. Because, of course, if they don't, then I go into my fear of abandonment. So I'm going to do that for them just so that I wouldn't have to be exposed to that fear. And it's
okay,
still protection.
I have a question. Is it that I don't want to be exposed to that fear, or is it that I don't want to not have other people around me because other people around me are fun?
Is it because I don't want to be feeling that fear, or is it because people around me are not fun?
Are fun. So is it
Oh,
because
so
is it because I'm resisting my fear?
out of not wanting, am I resisting loneliness? Or Anna, just experiment with it.
Okay.
Just do that experiment and see if you can track what you really feel and what you're resisting. Just
Okay.
go through it. The answers are in you.
Yes.
Lovely. So Susie,
Wait, can I share for a second? Because
share.
this is so good because I want to be the kind of person that just said, usually I could say, yeah, I have plans, no worry. But like last night I was talking to a friend on the phone and she wanted to know if I wanted to go for a walk and I had something to do. And I was like, well, maybe in an hour I could call you. And I knew in my mind that I would never call her. And I didn't call her, but it was just like, I'm not being clear about what it is. Like I wanted to take care of her instead of just taking care of myself. Anyway,
Exactly.
so messy. And she even said like, oh, it's no worries if you can't. And I was still trying to please her.
And she was trying to please you.
Yes.
And that's the game we play. We lie to ourselves and to others because we're afraid that if we were to tell the truth, we would end up all alone.
Yeah. So
and then what sort of fun could we have if we're all alone? Right on, Sarah. Thank you. Okay, Susie, what was the outcome of your having to lie to yourself and your friend or your acquaintance?
Well, I didn't feel like I was lying up until just now. So I lied
Oh,
to myself real
okay.
good. Um, I thought honestly, I thought the outcome was pretty positive because I went on a trip I really had been wanting to go to for a long time, and that was kind of like the impetus of like, well, like I already said I wasn't gonna be in town, might as well just not be in town. And I
Right.
had a lovely, lovely drive up the highway and went and saw parts of California that
Yes.
are incredibly beautiful.
So what you're speaking to us about is the silver lining, is
Yeah,
how you took lemon and you made lemonade,
pretty
which
much.
is completely to your credit. I mean, that's awesome that you could do that. But it doesn't change the fact that that's not the question. The question is not how could you make lemonade? The question is how does that affect your overall sense of self to
Mm.
not tell the truth to your own self and by extension to others?
Well, in a way, I feel like a child, right? Like perceive that other people have more power in a way, because like the person I was saying no to was older, significantly older than me. Not quite an elder, but like, somebody who in my community is being held at a high regard, right? So it felt
So,
like I was like felt like a kid trying not to say no, but like actually having a legitimate reason. Yeah.
yeah.
So it was, yeah.
So mommy and daddy are still out there. They're
Yeah,
not
pretty much.
quite integrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susie. And the last bullet point.
Since 95% of sacredness is in I can wait, what would happen to fear if I understood my fear of falling?
Yeah.
Since 95% of sacredness is in I can wait. So divine timing. So we're not even working in real time.
Yeah.
Like
You
human.
remember the game of forces and how the dark force is 95% of the equation, and gravity and strong force, small force, electromagnetic, and light are respectively the 5 missing percent, 1% each.
Well
So,
done.
as
Now,
always, 95% of every fractal is in number 1, be it in the light or in the dark. So, if I can wait, I have it all, minus 5%. But I have a considerable large piece of the equation.
so I know we were talking about the illusion of free will, right? And things kind of seemingly happening by our own choice, but really we have to walk the path of time and life experience to be able to get to the point where we can make a choice. But it's not even our conscious, it's not a choice we make from our humanity, right? It's a choice that we get to in our consciousness, in our higher self, where we can then make a a true decision, right? A true yes.
Right.
So for me, the I can wait is like it's not refusing to doing the work that it takes to get there. It's actually being enlivened by doing the work, walking the path, letting the time pass until I can truly make that decision. So waiting, but working while waiting in a way,
Yeah.
so that I can get to the point, get to that waypoint where I can just go, oh, here's where it
Yeah.
kind of dings to this other direction.
Exactly. And for those of you that have read The Love That Has No Opposite, the entire book has for course or theme the name of God that in Hebrew is Yah. You hear it in Alleluia, Kumbaya, Zachariah. That God name is connected to the 7 chakras of the tree of life. And it's the power that is the power of patience. So said differently, have the power to wait, and you got it all. So that's a perspective.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
That is spelled Y-A-H, correct?
Yes.
Like in Yahweh?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the beginning of what many pronounce as Yahweh, Yod-Heh, Vav-Heh. That's that part.
Okay.
Male or female. Yod is the male, Hey is the female. Got it together, you have patience. You're no longer in a lack, an either or.
Okay.
Okay, very good.